Good morning again, and welcome to Redeemer. I'm Pastor Gary Lodeholt. We've been talking about the events of Holy Week, and of course, today is Wednesday. So, our events today come from the 26th chapter of Matthew. When Jesus had finished saying all these things, he said to his disciples, "You know that after 2 days the Passover is coming, and the Son of Man will be handed over to be crucified." Then the chief priests and the elders of the people gathered in the palace of the high priest, who was called Caiaphas, and they conspired to arrest Jesus by stealth and kill him. But they said, "Not during the festival, or there may be a riot among the people." Now, while Jesus was at Bethany in the house of Simon the leper, a woman came to him with an alabaster jar of very costly ointment, and she poured it on his head as he sat at the table. But when the disciples saw it, they were angry and said, "Why this waste? For this ointment could have been sold for a large sum and the money given to the poor." But Jesus, aware of this, said to them, "Why do you trouble the woman? She has performed a good service for me. For you always have the poor with you, but you will not always have me. By pouring this ointment on my body, she has prepared me for burial. Truly, I tell you, wherever this good news is proclaimed in the whole world, what she has done will be told in remembrance of her." Then one of the 12, who was called Judas Iscariot, went to the chief priests and said, "What will you give me if I betray him to you?" They paid him 30 pieces of silver, and from that moment he began to look for an opportunity to betray him. These events on Wednesday are a busy day, but it's not so much about what Jesus did as about what others were doing about Jesus. From this point on, the Pharisees, the scribes, the elders of the people began to plot to destroy Jesus. I guess you could say, as you get to Wednesday, the plot begins to thicken. The story begins as Jesus speaks of his passion and death. And the important part for us to realize is that he knew what was coming, and still he stayed. The chief priests and the elders conspire to arrest and kill Jesus. And then Judas makes a deal to betray Jesus. What does Jesus do amidst all of this? He goes to the house of a leper. It's his last chance to escape. And instead, he cares for others. While he's there, a woman comes and anoints him with this expensive perfume, and Jesus interprets that he's being anointed for burial. But I think it's important for us to realize and remember that under the threat of being cast out himself, Jesus reaches out to a person who is already cast out. Jesus loves to the end.